Hunter Renfrow is coming off a career season for a lot of different reasons. And Davis, they did not have a premium wide receiver on the outside. They also did not have Darren Waller for a large part of last year. But boy, did Renfrow respond in such a big way down the stretch. Over 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns. And looks like the kid he was in college all of a sudden. He's being drafted, essentially as your wide receiver two. He is huge in PPR formats. Obviously, that's what we're talking about here. He's going essentially in the seventh round of fantasy football. So do you think that his numbers just strictly have to come down based off, having Adams there who's going to need more targets and maybe having Waller healthy for a full season?
So this is probably one of my more controversial fantasy football opinions this year. I cannot see it, right, with Hunter Renfrow. I think I'll put it this way. I see a 0% chance that Adams, Waller, and Renfrow can all pay off their targets, right? So there's no way that all three of them can be good at ADP. So who do you think is the most likely loser? Hall of Fame wide receiver Davante Adams. Maybe it's Darren Waller, right? Darren Waller has not been at training camp. He just fired his agent. We're going to talk more about him in a little bit. Maybe it's Renfrow, right? Maybe Renfrow is the one who pays off because he shows up to work every day. He got the contract extension he wanted this offseason. He looked around at a really bad wide receiver room in Las Vegas last year. The starting wide receivers with him last season were Zay Jones, Brian Edwards, Henry Ruggs for 7 games before he went to jail. Deshaun Jackson was in there. Willie Snead was in there. He looked at that wide receiver room and said, you know what? I got to show up. Like, I got to be the guy because these guys are not capable of handling a full target volume. Waller only played 11 games last season and was kind of nicked up off and on. So maybe that plays into it a little bit. But I can't draft Renfrow where he's going. Some of the guys right after him, I prefer both of the Steelers guys, Pickens and Claypool. Brandon Ayuk, I think a great example. Devonta Smith for the Eagles, another example. And I'm willing to just be wrong about this one. Like sometimes you have to say like, I'm going to make this decision. I understand it could go against me, but I can't draft Renfrow at cost.